Stay on the ball and keep your eyes on the road. Don't lift your phone while in the car. Drive smart. Check, what's happening,
great
mate?
man, Si, how are you?
ya?
Lovely to see you all been.
You too, mate. A wee drive with my Uncle Charlie.
Right, should I put the meter on? We're good to go.
How are you, alright?
We're fine, let's go.
Smells gorgeous, this, by the way. Is that you, the motor?
I think it's me, it's my lovely aftershave.
What is it, dupe?
Dupe, a historical aftershave. I had a bottle of that once.
That was old Saturday night aftershave, wasn't it? Right, mate, we're at your Sick and Love St Mirren.
Do you want to go out now? This is my true love. Oh, you know, last week I was at the opening game of the season. They get turned over with Inferno in the League Cup and Betfred Cup, but the Open was on. Why do we turn this music down? The Open was on. The cricket was on. The tennis was on at Wimbledon. And you know what, Simon? This was where I'd want to be. Green grass of Paisley.
You like that new stadium, or do you prefer Old Love Street?
Let's let we drive past Love Street.
We're going to go there now,
yeah.
Where it started.
It's a wee toddle, yeah.
Just before we start, what we're driving today? What's the motor? Some brief.
Well, no, it's murder. It's no. See, Simon, I'm a car snob. I've always had badges. I've always had cars I couldn't afford. This is not my car.
You can afford this easy. You can pay this easy.
My car has a wee bubbling paintwork. My Jaguar has a bubbling paintwork, so this is a courtesy car that went me, and very nice it is too, but not my style.
So you've got a Jaguar, huh? Taking your still the highest paid at the BBC, eh?
Well, I would like to hope so. in retirement, but you there's a long time since I drove a manual car. You used to automatic cars.
You want me to do the gears now?
And I think in a road safety film.
Oh, sorry. Have you ever had anyone else do the stick while you're driving?
That's a long story.
We've got our seat belts on as well. Do you always ride safely?
Yeah, I do. I think in terms of road safety, the older you get, the more sensible you come. You know, there is a folly of youth, but you learn to look out for lunatics. There's more and more bump pots on the road.
Oh, tell us about it. What age were you when you first started driving?
Yeah, so I had my father, my stepdad, who was the man who got me into St Mirren things, a huge St Mirren fan, because I was never a St Mirren fan as a kid, but he got me in it. We're just going up to Love Street up here and we'll turn left and past where the stadium used to be, but he got me into that, and he rode motorbikes. So he used to work in Dyke Bar Hospital. He was an engineer, and I used to go on a Saturday morning in the back of the motorbike, and while he was working, because he only worked at 12 o'clock, I could ride the motorbike about the grounds, so you didn't need a licence. So when I turned 16, I passed my motorbike test like that, and he gave me his bike and bought himself a new bike, which was brilliant. So I had a motorbike when I was 16. And the motorbike test wasn't quite so complicated then. All the lights have stopped here so we can get, see, that's where the ground is.
Oh, is that where it was?
That's where his houses are. And all the streets, and I was in a committee for the town council in Paisley, and all these streets are named after St Mirren legends in there.
Right.
Where obviously Tony Fitzpatrick and all the guys, you know, they named the streets after them.
McGowan?
I think I think was a cul-de-sac. This is where the terrace this ended with just turnstiles, and my dad used to go in there before he got a season ticket holder, became a season ticket holder. So great memories of the place.
Give us the Gaza story, because we never finished it.
Aye, sorry. So Gaza played for Rangers. He comes up on the road in a plane with my son and Sally's mother, and Keith wasn't really into football, but Gaza sat beside them when Keith had a Game Boy or something, so Gaza wanted to play Keith's Game Boy. They got talking, something to get on the motorbike. Even Keith realised this guy's probably quite famous as a football player, and he said to him, "You might know my dad." And Gaza said, yeah. So they got talking, and Gaza said to him, "I get stuff from Harley Davidson. See that junction there, time away? See that stop? It doesn't say slow down, it says stop." And there's a whole joke with that. The police stopped the guy and said, "Why didn't you stop at that junction?" The boy says, "I slowed down." And the police said to him, "Look, if I start hitting you with my baton, do you want me to stop or slow down?" Well, remember that. So, so Keith, Gaza came to me at Ibrox one day. I was going in, and he said, "I met your lad, lovely lad." He says, I said, look, Paul, you don't have to do all that. He said, no, I get stuff from Harley Davidson. I'll get him jackets. I said, no. He said, no, are you in here on Friday? I said, yeah, probably will be. Anyway, came in, and sure enough, his old pal, Five Bellies, Jimmy, was had stuff, sent him out to the car, and he produced all this Harley Davidson leather jacket, jumpers, T-shirts, gave them all to Keith. Brilliant.
Was Keith delighted,
Oh, it was. He kind of was cynical. This will not happen, but it was a brilliant gesture. I mean, Paul Gascoigne is one of the most generous people. It's terrible what's happened to the fella, but he was one of the most generous people I ever met in his life, in my life, and he brightened up Keith's life at that time. It was a great thing to do.
Right. Were you any good, Chitty?
At training, I was rolling the road at training. Was I any good, Simon? I've seen you play, son.
You can't compare it to that, though.
And I watch. I was all right. I think I was what was traditionally called in the tactical side of the game a shite bag. But I could run, I could dribble, I could cross a ball. I was a wee flying winger. Then I became a kind of what used to be called an inside right. I could see a pass. But when the game, I played for Aberdeen Motors, and we got the quarter final of the Scottish Amateur Cup, and we played Knockin Tibber down in Ayrshire. And Knockin Tibber beat us 4-0, and I'm convinced had we played that game at our home ground at Yoker, we'd have got on.
Oh,
and they'd
Yoker's
won
rough,
the cup. No, that was our place.
So that's a training ground up here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's where Jim
so up there,
Goodwin's putting the
that's
boys
the
through.
future. That's where the golden era is being nourished even now.
Tell you something, they have produced a couple of good ones, haven't they?
Well, you look at the players that have come through. I mean, McGinn, McLean, Stevie Mallon. You know, I mean, two St Mirren players in the Scotland midfield.
Yeah.
A few weeks back, which was fantastic.
McLean,
as
good
an
player,
academy,
yeah.
So, and beyond me, I mean, there's Celtic sticking out for the demanding the right fee for Kieran Tierney, and yet they squabbled over 3 million for John McGinn. So that's a bit double-sided, is it not?
And the boy Lewis Morgan, he played on the night.
Yeah, Morgan.
Really well. You liked
Morgan
him?
was brilliant for St Mirren. You know, and he's still, and all these players at St Mirren, the fans, they do their shift for the club, and you get your chance to move on to the bigger money, and everybody understands that. And there's no one. I don't think there's any St Mirren players who come back to play with somebody else and are roundly booed by St Mirren fans. I mean, there's an understanding of where the club is. And some of these guys that have played have been absolutely brilliant.
Right, I know you're sharing the car with a second squad now, but let's get back to the other one, Rod Stewart.
Brilliant. Rod used to drink. He used to go when he came up for games, even at Hampden. He drank the Wee Barrel, which is not there anymore in Love Street. Brilliant wee pub. He used to drink brandy and port, and I remember getting a few times. That's a severe.
Steaming.
Yeah. So. Great guy, and he afforded me. I did a programme called It's a Chick Thing, and the idea was we were going to go and interview. The original idea was the 6 most famous Scots. I know Rod isn't strictly speaking born Scottish, but he's all the Scotsmen that a lot of people aren't, who are born in this country. And he was brilliant. So it was Rod Stewart. It was going to be Sean Connery, etc., and Dolly Parton, who believes somewhere down her roots are Scottish.
Right.
I was particularly keen to see.
She looks like she's from Portugal, doesn't she?
Dolly's roots. But Ruby Wax turned up doing a programme with Dolly Parton just as we were about to go and film it. And the BBC didn't want 2 documentaries back to back, so
you got binned?
I did ditched my Dolly. But we did Rod in Chicago. Played football with him, not a bad player. He was at Brentford, wasn't he, as a kid? And he could play, and we played a couple of games just with the staff and all that, which was used in the programme. And he's just a brilliant guy, just a brilliant human being. Yeah, he is. You know, and he's been very good to me. The comedy. See, these are our guy. You know that. A P is someone who's just passed their test recently.
Oh, I know that, mate.
So I'm very considerate.
I've only been driving a couple of years.
Have you?
30 I was when I passed.
That's not a couple of years.
Do you know what wee Paul McGowan's just passed as well?
Is he?
Another St Mirren legend. He's
another
just
reason to get off the road.
What favourite Rod Stewart song? What have you got?
Maggie May was my favourite, I think. Brilliant. You know, I wasn't a huge Rod Stewart, not to say I'm not a fan, but it wasn't my music. I was the Beach Boys for me. That was
brilliant.
I was.
God only knows what.
Indeed. The tune of that's really good as well.
You want a Rod Stewart number, Fizz?
No, this is Carrie. What's that programme? That boy Corbyn. What's his name?
James Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn. James Corden. Corden, no Corbyn.
Do you like him, James Corden?
He's quite funny. He's a bit. I don't think he's drowning in modesty, but he's got a talent. But yeah, that the karaoke thing was good. It's good, isn't it?
Right, let's hear it. Have you got? Can you give me this one?
A bit early in the morning for that.
Right, that's Saturday night.
Beach Boys.
Saturday night stuff.
My songs. My karaoke songs. Elton John, your song.
Oh, great song.
Wee bit of crackle and
You
noisy
can tell
sometimes.
everybody this is the song.
This is your song.
Oh, sorry. Right, here's a question for you. Ready for this?
Go.
You can pick 4 people to be in your motor. Who are we going?
I need to get my own motor for a start. This is too wee.
You Jimmy Cranky in here, innit?
4 people in my... Right.
It's a big question, that.
Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Have you seen the film? He's a genius, isn't he?
He is a genius.
Is that true that manager captured him, isn't it?
Yeah. He's a wee bit off the wall. I think the drugs got to him.
Right.
But the man is an absolute genius. So Brian Wilson, it'd have to be Pelé, who, although, you know what, I said no one will ever in my lifetime be a better player than Pelé.
Messi's better.
I have to say that Lionel Messi, I'm not saying he's better, but I'm telling you he's getting there. And I'll make the judgment at the end of his career. But he's certainly...
What judgment's that on World Cups and stuff like that?
Yeah, you know, you can't say somebody's the best player in the world better than Pelé until they've ended their career. But he's certainly, to be fair, I never thought I'd say anyone was better. So maybe... Mind you, Messi and Pelé, I don't think are in for the banter here, but you're talking about passengers.
Yeah.
So
far, it's quite an intense journey so far.
I'm going to lose you. This one would be the sexiest woman that ever lived.
Oh, who's that? My missus.
Oh, she's been in the back of the car.
Yes, I love it.
Susan George.
Susan Boyle?
George.
Oh, George, sorry.
Better be George Boyle. Susan George.
Right, who's she?
Straw Dogs, Mandingo. She's a stunning actress, 70s, not in her 70s. Oh,
Right.
well, she is actually now. I just fantasised over Susan George in the 70s.
I thought you'd have been like an Owen sister type of... Nah.
No, Rebellious and Drive.
Right.
Look at the leafy
Very suburban,
it is.
it's lovely, isn't it?
So we moved here in 1956.
Right.
Because my dad died. He was in the fire station, in the fire service, and my dad died, just me and my mum. And this here is Ashcott Drive, and I used to know...
Is that yours there with the
No, that's me over
window?
here.
No.
That's... That's getting a bit overgrown, but that's, see?
Go and get a cut.
That
Is that your house there,
number
Chat?
213 up the stairs, 4 in the
Aye.
block, 213.
What one was the bedroom?
They were both bedrooms facing this way. The living room went to the back, 2 bedrooms. So what happened was, me and my mum, my dad died, me and my mum moved here, and then my mum remarried a great man called Alex.
Is that him that started taking you
And
there?
him and my brother, and I acquired a stepbrother who I still love dearly, and he lives down in Berwick Tweed, Jimmy. So the 4 of us lived there, and 2 bedrooms, me and Jimmy, my mum and dad, and an idyllic, Simon. This was an idyllic upbringing here. I loved it, and I had a pal just down there. You know, a young girl across the road that I knew, and a girl I went to school with in there. 2 lads lived next door, Alan and Graham Dunn. It was a fantastic place in the school. We'll take a barrel up to the old school.
Let's see your school. Come on,
Let's go and see the old school.
Let's go and see where you made an arse.
What we're driving is where I used to. By the way, I was a cover. Don't you start?
Oh, you
that,
covered,
I was
yeah.
So I used to. This is my walk to school. We're driving now up Bellowson Drive.
Right.
I used to think that's a really big hill. It's amazing when you're wee, but the next hill is very big. Up Balerno.
So you and your mates all walk to school together,
Well,
do your mum not drive now?
I'm not on drive. You never saw a car
Did
here.
you know now?
Never. Man next door had a car. I think he was the only one in the whole of drive. This is the school here, Moss Park Primary School.
Everything's on your doorstep, innit?
That seemed like a long
school.
walk in the old days, you know that?
So you were a lazy wee bastard,
No, I wasn't. I was like the old school.
Is it still a school,
Of course it's still a school. This was the playground where, and I'll show you. Oh my God, taken away. God, nothing remains the same. I only left there in 1963.
There's the Chick Young statue. God's sake.
You've seen me play then.
Any other famous sons going on there?
We used to play school here. We used to play football here. These buildings weren't in the playground. Oh, it's all changed. I know. See that? There's a thing there, Simon, with the two pillars.
Right.
That was the goal. So we used to play. That building wasn't there, so we used to play across there. And I was always. My hero was John White, who played for Spurs in Scotland,
Right.
legendary and said, right, killed by lightning in 1964. And I, when you're a kid, you used to always do a commentary when you're playing. John White was my hero, number 8 for Spurs in Scotland. And I always, when I played here in the charity team at Duke of Pumpers, and I always did the number 8 jersey out after John.
John White.
And I remember scoring a wonder goal in there. Oh, let's go, I scored it. In about 1963. But that played across there at lunchtime, playtime, breaks. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I think there's kids up in Peterhead that pretend to be Simon Ferry on their
Aye?
lunch break.
They're
They're all falling out of the ball.
There's a lot of people need treatment there.
Right, so we had 3 of your guests.
Who it was?
Susan, George, Pele, and who was the first again?
Brian Wilson.
Oh, Brian Wilson, sorry, how can I forget? Right, we need a 4th. I think we need a bit of humour in this. Oh, although you could be quite...
I would... See that white...
The white wall?
That was built for the Pope. It's not a wall, it's like a stage.
Right.
And that's where the Pope
That's what he done.
had an audience with the people. It was incredible.
How many people were there? You know now?
Oh, I mean, tens of thousands.
Wow.
In the area, and because it happened twice, 2 different popes.
Is this you getting to tell me that the Pope would be your 4th car guest?
Well, he's got his own motor, hasn't he? He gets driven about. So the final man in the car,
right,
without a shadow of a doubt, with the funniest man I've ever met, another gentleman, Billy Connolly.
Yes, great guest.
He's been brilliant to me over the years as well, and I've granted a few interviews and done stuff. I remember when he presented Celtic with the league championship trophy.
Yeah.
They said, Celtic said, right, no interview, Billy will be doing interviews, no, don't try and approach him. Fair enough. So after the game, after the presentation, he came up to me, check my boy, how are you? And I'm just standing with the mic, he starts talking to me, so I just get a bit of microphone we picked up. And this interview, for a man who wasn't doing interviews, about 17 minutes, it was a long time in radio, and it was just insane. And it was like, I said, I couldn't get out the interview. It was like the pilot's fainted, he didn't know how to land the plane. It was just going on and on, and he was just terrific talking about Celtic and his football and the Partick Thistles. The member he said they thought they were called Partick Thistle Nil. So, and he was just amazing. And every time you meet him, he's so engaging and natural, and he's such an asset to this city.
Brilliant. Well, was that the game? John, we interviewed John Higgins on Open Goal, and he told that story that Billy was in the boardroom and you meant to wear a suit and smart shoes, and Billy had 3/4 length and a pair of flip-flops.
And who's going to throw Billy Connolly?
Well, supposedly him and Fergus McCann were having a big argument in the boardroom.
Yeah.
Brilliant, eh?
This is us coming down Dumbarton Road to Ibrox, which was... So my house was diagonally across there through the park.
Yeah.
We've driven round, obviously, but through the park. And my mother, when I was a wee boy, would not let me go to Ibrox because she thought she had some idea that the crowds were too big and there was something would happen to him. But I had a pal who was a Clyde fan, and I had a pal who was a Third Lanark fan, my buddy Mel.
There it is, look.
Mel, and there's Ibrox. So it's a toddle from Moss Park to Ibrox Stadium. So, but my mother wouldn't let me go here because she thought the crowds were too big, but I could go and watch. And going to Clyde at Shawfield these days involved 2 buses into the city and out the city. And Cathkin was a bus, and she would let me do that, but not let me come here, which is a walk.
Would you argue with it, or would you just accept
No, I
it?
just something. We eventually used to come down. We just, the last, we used to call the last 20s. So you could come down. They opened the gates here, and you could get into the ground. And I can remember the first time. I always thought football was played black and white because that's all I'd seen in the telly at the time, and it was the colour of everything. But I should have been. I went to school, which I should take to school as well.
Yeah,
I changed my private school. My mother went to that school there,
Right.
Ibrox Primary. So I had every reason in the world. My brother's a big Rangers fan, the family, my school and all that. I don't know, but I think I was a stubborn. I became a Hearts fan as a kid, Simon, which was
Did
just. That was just ridiculous.
You were thick at school.
And I needed help. So down here in the government.
But see, seeing that big crowd, obviously, in the massive stadium that is, we'll go face St Mirren to the massive stadium at Ibrox, it must have been some buzz as a young kid to live 5 minutes for there now.
Well, yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it was the bigotry thing I couldn't go. I mean, I'm all for the laugh and the joke about it, but I couldn't stand the whole bigotry. Still can't get that. I don't get that. Support your team by all means, but for the right reasons. This is the legendary Copeland Road, of course.
Is this the Copeland Road, isn't it?
So
I don't know this area at all.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. So this is. I remember my pal's got a garage round here, and I remember bringing my car when I was at the BBC on the West End.
That's it there, is it, no?
No, it's not my pal's garage.
Let's get his garage. We'll give him a wee plug.
We'll drive past Jimmy's garage.
Any good?
I've got, Jimmy, you paying for this advert? So that point was that used to be called Copeland Road Subway, and they've changed it to Ibrox.
Right.
And I remember coming over here, the subway from Hill Head, that was the quickest way, and a woman said, I said, a ticket please, and she said, oh, check, pleasure to have you in the subway. Where are you going? I said, Copeland Road, and she said, where else would you be going? I said, just get a ticket.
Modern day music, I want to ask you about. Who you into modern? Just, as you say, Sizzle Sisters.
I downloaded, see this is good, Lizzo,
did I not?
Well, before this journey's over, I'm going to. Obviously, I wouldn't download to play music
While
while I'm
you're
driving. Clearly, that went insane. So, it was called Juice.
Right.
Good song.
Is it right?
So you get wee gems every now and then.
What about sort of Jerry Cinnamon?
I'm not hungry, thanks. Bit early for that.
Oh, you need to get on Jerry Cinnamon.
It's Jerry with cinnamon.
When you're driving, it's you get a proper bounce. Not the bounce you're used to, but no, Jerry Cinnamon, young Scotty. Well, no, young, he's older, but good. Lewis Capaldi, nah?
Well, I know. No.
Nah, no.
I know who he is. At least I know who he is.
Transmit was just on. Do you not got that, nah?
No.
I've got a bit.
I'm going to see Cara Emerald
Who's
next
that?
week. Very good.
What, classic?
No. See, I thought that was young person's music.
Nah, not for me, mate. I've got a bit of Capaldi in my locker.
Yeah.
This is when my voice is at its best, Eddie. I wish that I was good enough. If only I could wake you up. My love, my love, my love, my love.
Oh no, the lights have gone to
that's
radio.
good, isn't it?
The lights have gone to radio. More time to sing. This club has been, as I said, the club's been going for 100 years or something, but I've not been here for 100 years, Simon, despite what you think.
So if you were going for a night out, this is
We're going for a no hassle beer. You go in, one of the boys will be sitting, we sit around the barrel and we put the world to rights.
Yeah.
Have done for a long time.
Sit and
Some
watch
great
Hope
guys. Never miss it. Never miss it.
Oh, look at this.
So this is Castle Golf Club. That's not my golf club. My golf club is Pollock,
Right.
which is over the other side of this estate. But this is Castle Queen's Park Rugby Football Club.
This is posh, isn't it?
It's not posh.
No?
No.
Right.
Because they won the league.
It's not posh.
They won the league a few years ago, won the lower divisions.
And there's your stretching group that you've missed today to come here. The running group that you've missed.
They were doing a stretch. See, there's Ches. These boys.
Well, we'll shout Ches over.
If you want to get Ches over, and this will be good, we're doing volunteer work to make the club better.
Ches!
Come here.
How are you, young
Come here and
man?
be in the telly.
Come on, over you come.
He's doing his Roy Orbison impersonation. And us, see the other old man beside him? That's my other pal.
Oh, it's a great beard.
I've just been talking about you in the telly. Come here.
Come on, in you come, lads. Come on, we'll meet you.
You've got your
We can,
best
see, we
gear
can
on.
see them on the GoPro.
See, what happened, Simon, is we're actually shooting a new episode of The Last of the Summer Wine here.
How is he in the club? How's Chick in the club?
Noisy.
Is he?
But tell him I never in my life played rugby.
Yeah, I must be honest, that's true. I don't even think you've played in the
How come you went to, we're just discussing this, how come you went to the dark side and not stopped playing football and started playing rugby?
Oh, is this
I
him,
had a
right?
neck injury and...
You got a neck injury so you took up rugby?
And drinking.
I couldn't heady the football at training.
Why did we notice the difference in that?
Well, that was it. Just when the ball ballooned the back of the net, that was when
Oh,
you
aye,
it's
aye,
in there. I'm not sure Charlie how to do that.
You think he'd be any good at rugby?
Yeah, I can
No,
tell.
no,
No then.
not even then.
It's nice to meet
Okay.
you.
All the best.
See you, boys. See you later on. Cheers, boys.
Road safety.
Right.
And I've spoken to you before about it. I know how important it is. Obviously, your son Keith was
Yeah.
involved in an accident.
Well, you know, Keith, for those who don't know, my son was killed in a motorcycle accident when he was 20, which is coming up for 20 years ago. It'll be 19 years ago in January. Anyway, he was a victim of somebody who made basically a bad mistake. A guy did a U-turn. He was dropping the fellow was dropping his kids for the school bus in the road between Bishopton and Langbank, and the school bus came, and he did a U-turn, I think, well, without looking. Keith was the pillion passenger on his own motorbike. His pal was at the handlebars, and they hit the guy, turned in front of them, they hit him, and Keith was killed. So I know the price of bad driving, and the guy, from a personal point of view, I understand. We all make mistakes, and I understand that. Just personally, he never got in touch with me, never apologised or anything like that. He went to court. But I understand that people make mistakes, and I clearly, and I didn't ride my motorbike for 2 years, but I could hear Keith saying to me, "Get on the bike again."
Yeah.
Get again, because it wasn't the bike that killed him, it was a car. So obviously you got less protection on a motorbike, and I think that gives you a sense of, you know, how vulnerable you are when you're riding my bike, and you know, I come down this motorway, and there are a lot of idiots out there, and a lot of people who make honest mistakes, and I see people driving, and I thought, have you any idea of the price you have to pay, or someone has to pay, if you make a mistake? And if you went through what I've gone through, what Sally, his mother's gone through, and his friends, you know, you just wouldn't drive that way again. And you know, I was reckless, but I drove a different manner when I was younger. And I've had, over the years I've had a couple of speeding tickets, but nothing ridiculous. And I just think that proves you make mistakes, but you just got to be aware. I think if you drive and you assume that everybody in the road is going to make a mistake any minute now, you maybe drive more carefully. And it was obviously it was a ridiculously hard lesson to learn.
See, when you see people like on their phones, and you realise, you know, the damage that you can do.
Yeah, it takes, an accident, a death can happen in a second.
Yeah.
You know, you look away and you see people, I just go, and some of the people, I was driving along St Andrews Drive in Glasgow, and this guy, we were about 300 yards maybe from the traffic lights. This guy came flying back somewhere, but he wasn't in view. He suddenly was. He came up, overtook me, the wrong side of the road, came in, dived in front, went into inside lane. God only knows what speed he was doing. I actually took a photograph when he sat in the lights. I got my camera, I took a photograph of him.
Did you, right?
And I got the car, the registration number. I thought, I'm going to do something about this. He then turned right in the left-hand lane, and then we got along the road to the next set of lights, and I was behind him. You know, what is it?
What is the rush?
What's he trying to achieve? What do you think he's going to achieve?
So if you had a wee message for people, what would it be? Just to take your time and...
You know, yeah, it's better to get there 2 minutes late than not get there at all. You know, and it only takes a second to make a mistake. And you flew home.
Oh, yeah!
It's not an automatic, this.
You couldn't have liked that, but...
Tell me, no, he didn't stall it. See?
I think he did stall.
No, listen.
Okay, I'll give it.
Didn't stall it. Rescued it.
Brilliant. What about travelling to football games in cars? You ever get any banter or stick on the road for supporters?
Aye, I mean, your worst nightmare is getting stuck behind a supporters bus and driving. You know, but yeah, I remember I had a black Rover with cream upholstery at the time, and I drove into to get petrol. There's a wee petrol station just at Glen Eagle was always going to. Saturday I was going up to a game at Dundee, Saturday lunchtime in late morning, and the guy in front of me was a black Jaguar in front of me, and I couldn't get the pump. The guy moved forward and I gave him the thumbs up. That was brilliant. So again, and I'm just about to get out of the car to get the petrol. And this guy suddenly comes out, goes into my back of my car and sits down, counting his change. You sit in the car. So I turned around, what the fuck? And the boy went, he looked up and he saw me. Fuck me, Chick Young, he said. What are you doing in my car? And the guy says, what? And what happened, they just looked at the corner. There was a black car with cream upholstery, mine was too. And he went up there and he got in the wrong car. Brilliant.
Chick, by the way, been an absolute pleasure again.
Simon, always a pleasure to see you, son.
Cheers, mate.
Drive carefully, will you?
Definitely. Don't be a man down. Leave your phone on the subs bench while driving. Drive smart.